Hello, everyone. Guess who? It's March 28th, Sunday, and my understanding is that YouTube likes for you to put up a video at least once or twice a week. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. So, what have I been doing lately? I've been designing jewelry. This is about where I stopped years ago when I had a bump in the road. So I thought I'd start where I left off with this design. With my background, I was taught to practice, practice, practice. I'll tell you a story I read when I was a kid. I used to study biographies. This one's about Davy Crockett. They were pretty poor, and so they didn't have a lot of lead back then. But the type of rifle they used back there, a dried hard pea, as in the vegetable. They could use those in a musket and practice. And he got so good that when he would shoot a squirrel, he would just shoot near it. Believe it or not, I read it. And the concussion from the lead ball hitting the tree would knock that squirrel out. And he'd go get his dinner. And then he'd dig that piece of lead out of there. Now that's being poor. He was probably a little bit poorer than I was when I was growing up. But having said that about this ring, this one is not made out of silver. And this is just a prototype trying to get the design down. It's a pretty interesting stone. And I used a technique that my instructor taught me. Don't use a saw when you use snips. I never would have thought of that. I took that class back in late 80s. We had to saw everything out. I guess they were trying to teach us. So I hand drew this design, put it on this, took the tape, put it over a sheet of nickel, because I only paid $1 for this. For the whole thing. It's 24 gauge. But the first thing I had to do, if people can take their desserts and flamboy them, or whatever the word is called, it took me about 3 days doing a dry run before I got comfortable using this. And then I filled it full of butane. And someone returned a ring because it was missing a stone. I took those stones out, and this is this is why I don't use that vendor anymore. And no, this is not from my friends in Springfield. I don't know if I can hold this even, it's so small. See how small that is? That's not the problem. The problem was it has no dome to it. And this you probably can't even see. It was returned because one of these fell out. And I don't know if I can find a picture of the original ring. But those cabs are way too thin. And so whoever made this ring put sawdust, or don't even get me started with some movies I've seen, what you put behind a cab and then mail it through the mail. Woof, 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 woof. Knock, knock. Can't do that. But anyway, I used this to see if I could get those cups out of there. Softened the metal, flattened it up, and you're saying, oh man, you just destroyed that ring. Well, in a way, I guess I did. But I got that shape out of it. And for me and my big fat hands, I will probably just use this as an emblem to solder over a bracelet, or I may just turn it into balls. Those on the inside, they know what that joke means. So that's when I'm still pulling a few copper pennies. Remember, before 1982, I think. Always look for them. They got so many of these new machines now. All you do is get the brand new zinc ones, but trust me, they'll be worth a nickel someday. They put these little stones away. So I think in one of my videos I said sometimes you have to take 2 steps back to take a step forward. That won't work. Take 1 step back, take 2 steps forward. Either way you look at it, while I'm sitting at home watching the worst B movies, because I've used up all my A movies and I don't buy movies, I only get the free ones. But that's the design. We'll see. I'm going to get the... Oh, you can see I stuck it on there just to see if I liked it. I don't really have a ring that fits my fingers. I guess I'm a 12.5 on that finger. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. And so that's that story. And in between doing dishes, cleaning house, running the vacuum sweeper, checking the birds, wondering if I'm going to have to mow the grass, wondering what I'm going to do about the gardening, and wondering why I have to take a nap every once in a while. This is a great book. This is an original copy. It's a true story of not only just a surgeon, but a lifelong doctor. And anybody who's following me along with the influenza book. And they used to do this years ago. Originally sold for $4. Only one edition. and only one on Amazon, besides what I'm holding in my hand, which I don't know if I want to sell it. 1969 tells the entire story, basically, of how the medical situation has come about. But before he was a surgeon for one of the major generals, he was a backwoods doctor. And in the 1820s and 1830s, they didn't really have any schools in the United States, they did in Europe, that studied chemistry. And as I read in that other book, sometimes they'd mix their medicines, and to make sure they had it right, they'd take a taste. That sounds pretty close. Sylvia Danette, author, historian, lecturer, is a graduate of New Jersey College for Women. She's a recognized authority on the women who served in the Civil War, as well as other phases in the struggle. And she has, I don't even know if she's still alive. And then the other name shout out is Rosamund Burkhart, born in Indiana, much sought after as a lecturer in 1965. She received a citation from the New Jersey Civil War Centennial. She's also an avid gardener and an amateur artist. Look this guy up and keep the discussion alive on this. I guess it's over there by my chair on the book we've been discussing. Don't play with fire. Have a fire extinguisher. Circulate the air outside. Don't smoke while using it. And the news update. What is the good news? Suez Canal is blocked. 12 cargo ships can't get through. Those 12 I'm referring to, not the 200. All have livestock animals on them. And they only have so much food and so much water. And it just isn't like you can shove them overboard and they swim to shore and everybody's happy. It's got to be documented, and they can't exactly scoop up the poop, throw it in the Suez Canal, because then it would become the sewer canal. So let's pray they can get that Evergreen ship out of there. And let's pray it isn't, I guess, as bad as it is. I don't know if you call it a false flag or not. It's pretty serious poop to me. And of course, our folks in Nashville, they had a lot of floods and storms in Alabama and Georgia, and war in the Ukraine. Stock market's going up. Paper gold going down. But if you try to take it, it's called an allotment. If you decide to take your paper and you want to turn it into, I hold it, now I own it, have it mailed to you, they're probably going to tell you that they're back ordered for 2 or 3 months and offer you a deal where they're just going to buy out your paper position. Been watching a good series today. I usually do sci-fi or a good drama, but I found a series that I hadn't seen. I don't know how old it is, but it's about spies and before World War II. And Germany's on one side and Russia's on the other side and Poland's in the middle and France is paying attention and England's paying attention, and it's almost like the beginnings of the 007 series. So I'm staying occupied. Thank you for checking in on me from time to time. Be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, the follow button. This is a Little Muddy Farm at gmail.com. Stay safe.